Aside from his father, Jack, few hunters possess a greater connection with Rancho Encantado than Trevor Brittingham. This young man cut his eye teeth on chasing the giant bucks that roamed the brush here. And after years of taking record-class whitetails on mornings like this one, the dedicated bow hunter often lets his sixth sense, or basic instinct, that's been honed through his familiarity with the deer and the landscape, guide him to the right stand. Unlike many hunters, however, who anchor their success on a select buck using persistence, Trevor allows his instinct to take over on any given day by dipping into his reservoir of experience here.
This little buck is leaving. Here comes Coyote Ugly. Shot, but he is pumping blood. Oh man, I yanked it all the way back to the dorsal aorta, but man, did I get lucky. As soon as he took off, 2 giant sprays of blood pumped out before he was out of my sight. And I jerked it bad. I pulled it probably 2 feet to the right, but I just nailed the dorsal aorta with that shot. That is what I call luck.
On some marginal hits, it's best to wait before trailing, but Trevor's instinct on this one tells him it's prudent to follow the ample trail splashing the cactus and red sand.
This is absolutely covered. I'm gonna go ahead and take up his trail. And this is one of those blood trails that you just dream about. It's definitely not a blood trail that you have to work for. Right through here. Got a lot more blood right here. Dead run right now. Ooh, I see antler. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, he just crashed into this tree here at the end. Look at this. This is a cool deer. I don't know that I've ever seen a typical 5x7 without any trash or anything, and now I've got one in my hands. I don't know if I could ask for anything else. That is a neat buck. This guy decided he was gonna step out tonight and give me just a perfect opportunity, and my heart was pumping so fast. I managed to yank the trigger and hit him way far back, but my pot of luck is probably gonna be empty for a while because I nailed him right in the dorsal aorta, and it's the only spot I could have hit him back there where he would have died within 60 yards. This is just incredible. Well, I could sit here and stare at this buck all night long, but it's about to get dark and I gotta get him back so I can show him off.
With friends and family scoring on such fine bucks at Rancho Encantado, Jack Brittingham could hardly feel more fulfilled as a father and friend. And fulfilling this man's deep-rooted hunter's instinct, Jack has already taken a magnificent buck early in the year, a remarkable hunt featured on Jack's Lethal Impact DVD. Yet the yearning to venture into dawn's first light remains strong within Jack. So armed with camera and bow, he heads out for perhaps the most challenging hunt of all. Predators, including man, remain part of the great circle of life in most environments. And here in the thickets of the brush country, bobcats, coyotes, and even the occasional cougar add flair to the hunt. Filming in the thick brush is full of surprises, like having huge bucks appear from nowhere. With the camera lens locked on the buck, Jack draws and prepares to release his readied arrow.
I got out of my stand this morning at 9:30 and it's now 20 minutes after 12. I've been on this deer's trail for more than 2 hours, and this deer is surprising me because I did not think he would go 100 yards, and all I am picking up is just the smallest of blood. This is 600 yards at least from where I started this blood trail, and it's just, the only reason this is showing up so good is because he literally bedded right here, or stood. I'm not exactly sure, but it looks to me like he laid down here. Anyway, as long as I got blood, I'm still in the game.
Jack has unraveled some remarkably scant blood trails over the decades. That, combined with his trailing instincts, spurs him onward, despite the sparse sign and logic telling him to quit at times.
Oh, man. Holy cow, there he is right there. I can't believe it. The arrow is still in him. It's been 18 hours since I shot him. What a tough deer. That arrow must have buried in the offside. Wow. Look at the main beams on this guy. You know, this deer came in a hurry, and when he came in, I identified him as the buck that we call Traveler. I mean, he's got this huge, long head on him, and Ty Green nicknamed him Traveler after a famous horse that was owned by Robert E. Lee. He called it Traveler. It had a big old long head on it, so so they named this deer after it. But when he came running in, he came in looking around, and I saw that head and I saw this main beam sweeping around, and I knew it was him. But I did not see this badly broken main beam over here. I mean, literally from his G3 on out, it's gone. And this right main beam wrapped around. I could see these big brow tines, huge bases, and this wrapping main beam on this side. And for whatever reason, I did not pick that up. Now, I did pick up that this point was broken, but I didn't see that that main beam was broken. Anyway, this buck had to have gone at least 600 yards, if not longer. I mean, it just went forever. And literally, there were 2 or 3 times this morning where I was really contemplating giving up because I couldn't find any more blood. I mean, the blood had just petered out, and I just started, I'd walk out one trail and I'd turn around and come back. Then I'd walk out another trail, couldn't find anything on that, and I'd turn around and come back. And then I'd take a third trail and I'd go down it about 20 yards and there'd be one little tiny speck of blood. And so I'd be back on it again. And so, you know, kind of through the process of elimination, I was finally able to come up with him. And you know, what a neat deer. This guy's got to be 21 inches inside. Super old buck. I'm saying this guy's at least 6, maybe 7 years old. And neat main beams, the way they wrap around, and what an old battler. I mean, you know, he's just all busted up. And, you know, it's mid-January now. 2.5, 3 weeks ago when I was here at Christmas time, this was not broken and this was not broken. So he's been doing some scrapping just since then. Holy cow, I was worried I was not going to recover this guy. Anyway, glad to come up with him. That's great. Run him up and go find my truck if I can and get him back out of here.
Most hunters can hardly imagine taking one world-class buck on any given day, let alone 2 with archery gear.
All right. Christmas Eve, December 24th. I just got back from my South Texas ranch where I had a heck of a buck hunt this morning. Killed a tremendous mid-160s whitetail. And what I've found over the years is that when you're on a roll, you better stay in the woods because these rolls don't last very long.
A few years back, you witnessed Jack arrow a magnificent South Texas whitetail featured on his Buck Fever 6 DVD. What you didn't see was the rest of the story.
This has been one of my favorite places to rattle. I put this pop-up blind here about 6 days ago, right before I left for South Texas. And I'm just going to get in here, and as it gets a little later this afternoon, I'm going to try the antlers and see if we can't pull something in. Get set up here, get everything ready. This is going to be a perfect afternoon. I mean, this weather, it's about 45 degrees. The temperature will drop on down, I'm sure, as the afternoon progresses. Get my release on. I love rattling from inside these ground blinds because you can, for bow hunting, you can get away with murder as far as movement is concerned. Whereas if you're out there up against a tree, it just doesn't work as well because these deer, you know, they're going to catch the movement. As they come in, they're all alert, they're looking for a deer, and anything that moves when you go to draw your bow, it just has killed me in the past. So what I've gotten to is setting up several of these ground blinds around the ranch in advance of when I wanted to use them, and then just move in slowly, get in there, let things calm down and rattle, and it's in the past worked out pretty well for me.
Hours later, after flying back to Briar Lakes, he can't resist the lure of a perfect evening in the stand with his bow.
About 4:30, we've got just about an hour of light left, so I'm going to go ahead and try a rattling segment and just see what we can draw in here. Go ahead and open these other windows comes in behind me, I'll have some shot options here. Comes a little buck right here. Look at this guy. Looks like maybe a 2 or 3 year old buck. Man, he came right into those antlers. That's not the kind of deer we're looking for, but that's pretty cool. He never even paid any attention to this ground blind. Pretty neat. That's a good sign right there. That's a real good sign. It's been about 15-20 minutes since that last rattling segment. I'm starting to lose light. It's getting just about prime time. I'm going to give it one more go and see if anything will pull in here. Right over here. Look at this. Coming over here. Look. It's a good buck. Look at this guy. Look at that drop tine. I'm going to take this buck. Definitely going to take this buck. Nailed him. Look at it. Look at that blood coming out. He's down. He's down right there. Outstanding. Not 60 yards away. That arrow just destroyed him. That buck came running in here. He heard those rattling antlers, but when he came across, he had one thing on his mind, and that was to find out what was making that fight. What a great buck. Let's go take a look. There's the arrow right here. Just past the point of impact. Wow, it's just covered in blood. Well, this is one of those great tracking events where I know the deer fell, so I know exactly where he is, even though we've got a massive, massive blood trail. I don't see blood trails like this very often. It just, must have been right through the heart. I saw the deer fall through the woods, so I don't have to really stay on it. And that makes me feel great. Oh man, look at this buck. Wow. Look at the tine length on this buck. Now here's something I didn't know he had. Look at this point in the back here. Unbelievable. Goes almost clear across the back of his head. That's a nice bonus right there. And considering he's only a foresight on this side, that kind of replaces his missing G4. Pretty neat. And look at this. Now I guess you'd have to call this the main beam. right here, and this is a G4 point with 2 little kickers coming off of it. But what an unusual deer. Oh man, what a great deer. Unbelievable. This is definitely a day I will never forget. Can't believe this morning before daylight I'm in a tripod down in South Texas in Dimmitt County, and by 8 o'clock I had killed a beautiful 6x6 20-inch typical whitetail. My family and I get on the plane, we fly back to our home in East Texas, and I decide to go out to this ground blind I've set up, and I rattle this guy in. I tell you what, this is a day that I will not soon forget. Unbelievable to have 2 beautiful trophy quality whitetail deer like this taken with archery equipment in the same day in 2 different parts of the state, almost more than 300 miles apart.
We're pretty sure that Jack will enjoy this particular Christmas the rest of his days.
What a gorgeous deer. Well, I'm gonna drag him out to the road and then go get the truck and take him back.
To enjoy more exciting whitetail hunting, check out Jack Brittingham's Lethal Impact, where the buck fever continues.
This deer's gonna be pushing 170.
And don't forget to view the full library of DVDs offered by Briar Lakes Productions at www.jackbrittingham.com.